I give to everyone all the time and no one checks in with me. I show up at work and I check in with Susie and Kathy and Mary and ask about their weekends and ask about their spouses, ask about their kids, but no one checks in on me. No one cares. Hello, my name is Tara Fulkerson. I am the founder of Rebuild from Within. I am a core pattern coach. I help ladies identify and unravel deep-rooted survival patterns. And I should also introduce Prince Lord Fluffy Paws III. He is sniffing the fresh morning air here in San Diego. Today, I am talking about self-limiting beliefs. That's exactly what they do. They limit us. They limit us in thinking and doing and acting on things that maybe we really want to, our heart wishes that we would do, but we just don't feel safe or comfortable in that moment or that experience or even that thought of doing something different because they limit us. And where in the world do these beliefs even start? Once again, it all happens during that developmental stage where possibly you were a little one and you were scolded for expressing yourself repeatedly and repeatedly. So you learn to just not express. And how does it show up in the leaving pattern? The leaving pattern likes to disassociate in their head and they just are in another little world. How does it happen with the enduring? They just literally shut down and bottle everything up. Once again, these limiting beliefs served you and kept you mentally, emotionally, and physically feeling comfortable at that given moment. What if you were the child who was the crybaby? I think I was. I was annoying. I was a little crybaby. My brother, I always bothered him. So you could have been the crybaby, and everyone was like, sissy, stop crying, sissy, suck it up, buttercup. Well, you quickly realized staying quiet was the best thing to do. So whatever was happening at that time, you learned not to rock the boat or to be the good girl. And that helped you in that environment, those repeated experiences that could have happened in your family, could have happened at school, could have happened in extracurricular activities, where you just realize I need to follow this particular belief, action, behavior, because this is what makes me feel safe. And some of these beliefs could be, self-limiting beliefs could sound like, or you're struggling with, I just want to speak up, but I freeze every time. I just can't speak up. Or I give to everyone all the time and no one checks in with me. I show up at work and I check in with Susie and Kathy and Mary and ask about their weekends and ask about their spouses, ask about their kids, but no one checks in on me. No one cares. That is a belief. Then also, it could be as simple, but it's so true. I am lazy if I sit down and read a book. Sitting down reading a book is lazy, or stopping the dishes to go play with my kids. I can't do that. The dishes have to be done. These are all self-limiting beliefs. They're all learned, which means they can all be unlearned, right? And the patterns, the beliefs can run through all the patterns. And sometimes beliefs will show up in different contexts in your life, with relationships, with work, with yourself. Um, it could be with friends. I'm not the articulate one. I don't feel comfortable expressing my thoughts. It could be with yourself. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not strong enough. Others are better than me physically. It Beliefs are all over. But once you become aware, then you can get curious with it and you can get your head wrapped around it. And then you can become the driver of your life and not letting these supplementing beliefs limit you. So, how do they show up in the patterns? Well, leaving people we know like to check out in their melon. They like to check out. They don't feel safe there. So belief could be, I don't feel safe to express. I don't belong here. Because a lot of leaving people prefer to be out in nature. They prefer to be out away from people. People just aren't safe. And with the leaving, a lot of times how it shows up in their life is they space out. They don't finish a lot of things and they just don't feel comfortable expressing. Then we have the merging, which is the second one, the developmental stage. And the merging, gives to the detriment of themselves. And they're really good at shape shifting or chameleon. They will change themselves to meet that other person's energy so they can have that connection. That's exhausting, right? What would a belief be for the merging? The merging is, if I don't give to others, then others won't love me. That could be a belief, right? And also these beliefs could run in other patterns as well. But this is a big one for merging. And how does it show up in adulthood? Overthinking, anxious, and exhausted because you give all day long. Then we have enduring, and they ball up their emotions, they shut down, right? And a belief could be, I cannot express myself because I will not be seen. It is not safe. Because the enduring learned very quickly if they express, they got shut down. So they're very good at riding under the radar and keeping all their emotions bottled up. So how does that show up in adulthood for enduring? Well, they just keep it all in. They don't express, and they sit with those emotions. They sit with it, and it just stays inside of them. And that's why sometimes I feel like enduring. I can barely lift them because they just have so much stuck energy. That's why it's so important for enduring to move and to actually exercise to get that energy stirred up. But they don't feel seen. So they just are like, why would I express? And if I do, I'm going to be humiliated, or a lot of times they will self sabotage themselves and stay in very uncomfortable situations, work or relationships, because of that. Then we have the aggressive, and the aggressive, same thing. They are going to be in control. They are the ones that are going to be the leader of the group, because if they're not controlled, it's not going to be done right. And also, it is very uncomfortable for an aggressor to let someone else take the lead because they have the fear of vulnerability. And how would that belief show up? A belief with the aggressor would be, if I don't do it, it's not going to be done right. And that rules their life. They can't soften up, because how it shows up in adulthood is they can't soften up and let others take the lead. It's very uncomfortable. They have to do it. They have to get it right too. That's a high bar to have, right? Then you have the last but not least, the rigid, which I am very experienced at. And the rigid, it is all based off production. With the rigid, you have to get it right. There is a plan, there is a structure in everything you do. Once again, how can I stop washing the dishes and go play? These dishes have got to be washed, right? That's the rigid thinking. So a belief of the rigid be, if I don't get it right, then I'm not okay. So me being a personal rigid person, I have to learn to be sucky at things. I have to learn that everything doesn't have to be A, B, C. With the rigid, you learn to be perfect. It had to be perfect. So belief could be, if I don't get it right, I'm not okay. And how does that show up? Over anxious, not being spontaneous, because everything has to have structure. That is a lot. This is a lot of beliefs that are running your show, that are keeping you from doing things like having fun with your kids, or speaking up about a great idea inside of a meeting. All of this is keeping us tightly restricted. And I know all of you have something inside of you saying, oh, I just wish, but that's not me. Oh, I would love to be like her, but that's not me. Guess what? You can do it with awareness and acceptance. Please, I encourage you to follow up with me with that one-on-one in Zoom or person, or take the free quiz just to get your party started with what pattern is running in your show. Because underneath all these beliefs is a pattern. And if you're curious about what I'm referring to of patterns, please check out my other episodes. But you can take that quiz at www.rebuildforthin.org. Because when you work with me, we actually will dive into these self-limiting beliefs. We will get to the root of where these beliefs started, why you feel the way you do about them. And then with my guidance, we will begin stepping into a new belief, a belief that will help you start living your truest self and acting on those, what I call heart wishes. Heart wishes is being what you truly want to do and feel and be. Okay. And if this resonates with you, please subscribe, because there's so much more on the channel. And if you know a friend who could hear this, please forward. Okay. Thank you so much.